on Tuesday, part one of Big Ten Media Day recaps. That was episode 241. It is episode 242 on a beautiful Thursday afternoon in the year of our Lord 2025. And we are now entering August. It's the last Thursday of July, or the last last Thursday in July, in the month of July, and it's July 31st. Tomorrow is August 1st, and we are so excited because when August hits, it's college football, and it is time to talk about some college football. And we have a big episode on Tuesday, but we're going to get to that at the end of the episode. But we are concluding our month-long Media Day coverage and our month-long Media Day, excitement here at Pigskin Frenzy. Talking season is going to conclude, and we are concluding our Media Day recaps and our coverage with the Big Ten. Big Ten Media Day recap part 2. This time we're going over 12 teams, so strap in. We went over 6 teams on Tuesday. We're going over Wednesday and the Thursday portions of the Big Ten Media Day for 2025 right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris, and whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean, listening on Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage and some Media Day recap coverage presented by me. And after watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X and Instagram at pigskin_frenzy. Follow all the pages there. You're going to get episode updates from college football and news and highlights from college football, trivia questions on Instagram stories, going to answer today's college football question, as well as all things of today and exclusive content from Pigskin Frenzy. There's the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. There you will find a home and about me page, learn more about me as your podcast host, contact info down below, name, email, and question. I'll answer it on air or off air if need be. There's also the platform, store, and affiliations pages on there as well. More on the website is www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. It's almost amazing how time flies, isn't it? It really is, because when you think about time, you're like, oh, shoot, we're already done. We went over the Big 10, the Big 12. We went over the ACC, the SEC, and now we're concluding everything with the Big 10. We already went over half of the Big 10. Now we're concluding our full-on Media Day recaps from the conferences with the Big 10. And this is our last episode for Media Day. Talking season's about over, and we're going to conclude our talking season before I got to go down there to Mississippi for a weekend and do a Media Day down there as well. So it's coming to a head. And after that, I'm going to come back and get ready for some college football. So Big Ten Media Day recap, part 2. Going to wrap everything up. 12 teams on tap, so bear with me. 6 on that Wednesday, 6 on that Thursday. It was last Wednesday and last Thursday, so bear with me. We're doing it a week in advance. So we were trying to do the ACC first before the Big Ten. So it all happened at the same time. But anyway, let's start it off with the Wednesdays. 6 teams who spoke on the Wednesday, day 2 of Big Ten Media Days for 2025. And let's kick it off with Minnesota. Minnesota is a team, in my opinion, is another sleeper team. I mentioned Rutgers the other day being a sleeper team. This is a true sleeper team here. I'm a big PJ Fleck guy. He just got a contract extension. Congratulations to him on getting an extension. They're undefeated in bowl games. When PJ Fleck's the head coach at Minnesota, did you guys know they're undefeated in postseason play in bowl games? That is crazy. They're 6-0 in bowl games, and I expect them to probably add another win to their bowl game column come postseason. I mean, honestly, the way they play in bowl games, they turn it up a notch. PJ Fleck, a solid football coach, and he's recruiting really well there. Brand new quarterback coming in, projected starter in Drake Lindsey, most likely will be their new starting quarterback. They're going to have to adjust to that. And how they spoke with confidence. They spoke that they know it's going to be a competitive and deep conference this year, but they expect that it's going to be challenging, but they want nothing more than a challenge. They want a challenge, and they want to be competitive in this league. And the Golden Gophers, man, to me, I just think the way they're set up a little bit on offense and some of the wins they got last year, I think that they are at least in some key areas, they're built to compete again this year. I put them, I put them at number 12. I think I think 12 or 11. I think no 11 in the Big Ten conference standing projections on our list. As far as I remember, they are 11. But I put them there because I think they have a shot at being competitive. I'm not going to sit there and say that they're going to, like I said, win the whole thing. But I do think Minnesota has a shot at being competitive. Darius Taylor was another guy who I think brings them that edge as well. PJ Fleck spoke confidently in him as well. Darius Taylor spoke confidently as well, and he was a true leader, it seemed like, during media day. And the way he spoke with boldness and confidence, and he was confident in the Golden Gophers heading into the 2025 season. So my overall media day recap for Minnesota is this. I do not expect them to win the whole thing. I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, they're going to do it, but I do expect them to compete. As long as PJ Fleck is on the sidelines, breathing, living, and fired up and rowing the boat, I expect Minnesota to be undefeated in postseason play and bowl season games, and I expect them to give it their all each and every weekend. I think that they're going to give it their all, and I am curious to see how everything is going to work out this season, especially with Drake Lindsey coming in at quarterback as a freshman. I'm curious to see how the offense is going to shape up there. We know how Darius Taylor is going to be. The defense is going to be a lot more bolstered up as well. So I'm curious to see what Minnesota is going to look like in 2025. PJ Fleck may compete this year. So that's another sleeper team for me is the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. And that's really my overall thoughts and my media day recap on Minnesota as we got, 11 more teams to talk about. But just keep in mind, man, PJ Fleck is still rowing the boat. He's still a good football coach, and I believe in him. So Minnesota can be a sleeper team. Watch out for them as they head into the 2025 season. That's my media day recap and my thoughts on Minnesota. Next up, let's talk about another team here. Let's talk about Northwestern. David Braun is their head football coach. Not a very good season, but they can bolster it up. Just maybe they can bolster it up in Northwestern. They bring in SMU transfer quarterback Preston Stone, coming off of injury issues, but he most likely, is healed and he's ready to go, and he's ready to show the Wildcats and Wildcat Nation what he can do up there in Northwestern. I expect him. Well, he most likely will be the starting quarterback. He was there for Big Ten Media Days. He spoke confidently of his new team and was thankful for his time at SMU, and he spoke confident about how this season can turn out. And David Braun spoke confidently about the Wildcats as well. And I think that David Braun knows that this season he's not on the hot seat. I wouldn't assume, but if the season doesn't pan out like he's hoping it would, it can be. It can be a hot seat season where it's like, okay, well, next year I may be in trouble if it doesn't pan out. So David Braun to me, and he surprised a lot of guys in his first season as interim coach and as going on full-time coach. He surprised a lot of guys, and when he started in 2023, he surprised a lot. And then come 2024, it downgraded. Let's see if 2025 he can step it up again and do really, really good. He's 1-0 at bowl games. He was Big Ten Coach of the Year in 2023. 8-5 record in 2023, and then was 16th in the conference last year as they went 4-8. He's 12-3 at Northwestern. Look, if he can win a couple of games this year, especially with Preston Stone at quarterback, it could really, really shape everything. So how he spoke confident, but at the same time, he spoke like there may be some issues that he can work on during the season and heading into the season. So my overall thoughts on Northwestern is I do sense a sense of, okay, let's not be urgent, but let's start getting a move on in some areas, right? Because he's entering his third season as head coach of this team. Let's get some urgency going, and maybe with Preston Stone, because I'm confident in my quarterback. Maybe we can up it a little bit, and let's see if we can win some ball games and win more than 4 games, right? So my overall thoughts is they're acting with a sense of urgency. after that media day, and they're ready to go. And I think that Northwestern is going to have to figure out a way to do that and go with a sense of urgency. So overall, that's my overall thoughts and media day recap for Northwestern and how I think they spoke of when they were talking at media days last Wednesday. So that was Northwestern's media day recap. Just got done with Minnesota and Northwestern. Now let's move on and let's talk about, excuse me, let's talk. As I pull up my notes here, you're thinking, dude, what are you doing? Pulling up my notes as we talk about our next list. There we go. Next list, Oregon. We got Oregon on tap. And Dan Lanning entering his second season in the Big Ten, entering his he's entering his really fourth season as head coach of this squad. And he is ready. He is fired up and he is ready to go here at Oregon. Fourth year at Oregon, second season in the Big Ten, already a Big Ten champion, went to the college football playoff, made a Rose Bowl appearance, number one seed in the playoff last year. He's fired up about this team. They do lose a good bit and a good chunk of guys, but they do have some talent on their team to where Oregon can compete, and I think they will compete for a Big Ten title. Dan Lanning's going to have them ready to play. I put them at number three on our conference standing projections list because I do believe that they can compete. I expect Dante Moore to be the starting quarterback, and they asked him about the quarterback job and what's going on there, and he really, just like any coach would, let's just neglect it and let's just move on until later on. Let's see how fall camp handles everything. But I expect Dante Moore to be the starting quarterback for this team as we enter the season. You bring in they brought in some guys with him. He praised Mateo Uiagalelei, the brother of DJ Uiagalelei from last year, Florida State, Clemson, and Oregon State quarterback. Outside linebacker Mateo Uiagalelei was there, and he spoke highly and confident of how the defense can play this year and how everything can go there. They spoke well. They spoke confident. They spoke like they were ready to go this season and try to chase back to what they had last season. And that's a playoff appearance and try to go back to winning another Big Ten title, go back to back. They're the defending Big Ten champions, and they spoke really, really confident. And Dan Lanning was confident in how this team was going to play out. I think I really wanted to hear a little bit more. So here are my thoughts on Oregon's Media Day recap from that Wednesday. And overall, what I wanted to hear from them, a little bit more about the quarterback situation. I wanted to hear a little bit about the offensive line situation as well. I think the line of scrimmage, to me, is important for Oregon because they are a physical team, and Dan Lanning preaches physicality, and he's a physical head coach. I just feel like I wanted to hear a little bit more on the physical side of things when it comes of in terms of Oregon and what they got going on. I think Oregon's going to be a solid team. You get Mekhi Hughes at running back, who wasn't there, but he's a solid player, and he's going to be a good playmaker on this offense. But I want to hear a little bit more about the line of scrimmage and the trenches. I think Oregon needs to bolster up on that a little bit, but I wanted to hear an update on that as well. I think that's the really two big things that I wanted to hear from him. Other than that, they spoke confidently. Oregon's ready to rock and roll and get ready for the 2025 season. So overall, that's my Media Day recap of Oregon. I mean, nothing really, outlanding and outstanding and special and outlandish, but I mean that's really it. I mean those are the two things I really wish I wanted to hear, but we're probably going to get those questions answered come week 1 and come 2025 season. So that is my Media Day recap for the Oregon Ducks, the defending Big Ten champion. Let's see if they can get another Big Ten title back to back this year. So that was Oregon, and let's move on to who I have winning the whole conference, and that is Penn State. Penn State is up next. We got for Wednesday's edition, we got Penn State, Washington, and Wisconsin up next, and then we'll move on to the Thursday edition of Big Ten Media Day, the last day of Media Day for Big Ten. But Penn State is up next, and we get James Franklin back again. Probably one of the longest tenured coaches in the Big Ten, probably if not the longest tenured coach in the Big Ten. I mean, he's got years on there, and he is a solid football coach, but he's come so close to winning the big one. He went to the Orange Bowl last year, came very close, one game away from the national championship and fell just short. They went to the Big Ten championship. They lost that game, but he feels and he is confident in his team. This is probably the most confident I've seen James Franklin and his team in a long, long time, entering his 15th year as football coach of this team. And to me, 15th, I think it's 15th year as head coach of this team. And it is, to me, entering like over the past span of, over the span of just being there for so long. This is the most confident he has been in the Nittany Lions pretty much, I think, the majority of his tenure there. I mean, to me, it sounds like he's very confident in his team. He spoke very confident about his team this go-round. He's confident in his quarterback, and Drew Allard. He's got the two most dynamic running backs in the Big Ten, and Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. You get Nick Dawkins at offensive line. He brought him with him, and he brought Zakee Wheatley at safety with him. Hiring Jim Knowles was a good confidence factor in him. He was speaking about that as well, how confident he is that Jim Knowles can strengthen up that defense and make that defense a little bit more physical this year. He's confident in how his team can go compete for a national title this year. He's confident that this year, and the vibe that I'm getting from Penn State around State College, Pennsylvania, is that this is the year for them. Like, this could be the year for them to go win a Big Ten title and go play for a national championship. And I believe it by the way they are confident in themselves. Drew Allard, one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten, and if not the best quarterback in the Big Ten, and one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Drew, he spoke really confident about him. And like I keep saying, you got to be confident in your quarterback heading into the season. I just feel like they were really, really confident in, overall. So overall, my thoughts on Penn State for my mid-day recap, they had really, really good confidence. I picked them to win the Big Ten championship for a reason. I believe that now that they got three solid receivers, including Kyron Hudson and Trevor Pena from the transfer portal. I believe that those two guys can make a big difference for Drew Allard, and all of a sudden you got two-headed monster in the backfield with Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. That offense can cook, and I believe that defense, just give it some time and it will gel as well. So overall, the feeling and the vibe that I got is that Penn State's at the top of the list, and I believe that they're going to be top two in the season when come week one rankings, preseason rankings. Entering the week one, they'll be at least number two on the rankings, in my opinion. And they should be, because they have the team. So James Franklin's confident in his team. I'm buying into Penn State, and I believe that they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game. That's just my overall thoughts. But that's my thoughts on Penn State, and that's my mid-day recap for Penn State, the Nittany Lions. Let's move on, and we got two more teams on this Wednesday edition, on this Wednesday one, and then the Thursday one. We'll move on. I'll give you my thoughts on who I was confident in on this Wednesday one. We got Washington on tap. That's another sleeper team in the Big Ten that you can keep an eye on, is Washington. Jed Fish entering his second year as head coach. And then you get Will Rogers no longer there. You get Damon Williams Jr. at quarterback, who has a shot, who will most likely start for them at quarterback. A lot of people aren't talking about him that much, and they probably should be talking about him because he is a very athletic quarterback. I think accuracy's on point as well. I just think decision-making, he can clean that up. If he can, bolster it up and clean that up a little bit, I think he'll have a better decision-making. He's going to be a solid quarterback in the Big Ten. And I think a lot of people aren't really focused on Damon Williams at Washington. Jonah Coleman is back at running back for them. Jed Fish is quietly confident, as I get my pen here, quietly confident in his team. I think that he is confident, and not really cocky, if that makes sense, but confident that this team can beat something this season. I put them at, I put them at 9 on our list. I just think that Washington has a shot at being a solid football team, and I think that Denzel Boston at wide receiver is really, really good as well. I mean, I think their defense, Ephesians Pricesock at corner is going to be really good on defense for them. They have a very underrated defense. I think that Washington's going to be 9th, and I think they're not going to win the whole thing most likely, but they have a shot at competing, and I would watch out for Washington in a lot of games because they have a shot at competing and probably winning some of these games. So Jed Fish may be onto something at Washington this season. So, and overall, my thoughts on everything from their media day and how confident they were. They spoke with confidence. I did really want to hear a little bit more about the offensive line, and I wanted to hear a little bit about that. But overall, I do sense some confidence that they may be a sleeper team in the Big Ten. So if you want to look at Washington, man, I mean, that's a team that I would look at and think, hey, I could keep an eye out for them and what they can do, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So those overall my thoughts and my media day recap of Washington. I would watch out for them. They spoke really good about their team, and I really like how Jedd Fisch presented himself and carried himself in this media day. So Washington, watch out for them. That's my overall thoughts on Washington entering their season for 2025. That's my media day recap for them. So last but not least for this Wednesday, it's Wisconsin, a pressure-filled season for Luke Fickell. I believe so, and it's just like I said with Virginia Tech in the ACC Part 2 Media Day recap, and then on Tuesday with Maryland, I think that Luke Fickell's entering a pressure-filled season, and I think that there's a thing that there's a thing that he needs to go out and he needs to do, and that's just win some ball games. He needs to be competitive in these games and win some ball games. They do have one of the deepest secondaries coming back in the Big Ten, which is really, really good for them. They do have a quarterback that they picked up from the transfer portal in Billy Edwards Jr. from Maryland, picking him up, and now he most likely will be their starting quarterback for the Badgers. He was with them in media day, and Luke Fickell spoke highly of him and was confident in him and how he makes progressions, and he's confident that they can compete this season and do a lot better this season. I put them at 12th, I believe, 12th. 13 or 12 in conference standing projections for the Big Ten. Ricardo Hallman at cornerback leading the charge for the secondary for this media day crew for the Wisconsin representing them at media day. They spoke confidence, but they know that it's going to be a challenge and that they got to work through it. And I believe that that's how they kind of spoke. They spoke with there's going to be some challenge, but we're going to fight. And they showed a little bit of that competitive nature while speaking at media day as well. So overall, for Wisconsin, in my media day recap for Wisconsin, I believe, to me, they did show some sort of confidence, but at the same time, it's like it is a little bit of a pressure-filled thing for Luke Fickell. Like, they're going to have to win some ball games, and I believe heading into the 2025 season, I think that with Billy Edwards, they have a shot at competing and winning some games. It's just a deep conference. There's some deep teams, and with their schedule and how it's lined up, are they going to be able to win these games, and can Luke Fickell maintain and cool his seat down a little bit heading in to the rest of the season and beyond? And I don't know. That's just really something that you got to ponder, and that's what made me ponder after the media day, listening to them speak. It's honest, like, okay, they're lining some pieces up, but at the same time, you got to think, is it a pressure-filled season as well? So you just really got to see what happens. It's sort of a confusing aspect when it comes to Wisconsin. So we'll see where they're at, and we'll see how everything shapes up entering the 2025 season. So that's my media day recap for Wisconsin and what I think of overall about Wisconsin entering the 2025 season and at their media day. So that was Wednesday's media days and their last Wednesday's media days. And I'm going to tell you who I'm confident in before we move on to Thursday's 6 teams, and then we'll wrap everything up for this episode 242. So who I'm confident in, obviously, was Penn State. I'm confident in Penn State. They showed tremendous confidence. They showed that they are, always, to me, that they're the clear-cut favorites, and I believe that they are the clear-cut favorites, and they should be, because they had the roster, they had the team, they had the coordinators, and James Franklin's really confident and showed that, hey, we can go out and beat anybody in this conference and beat anybody in college football. That's the way they are speaking, and they showed a lot of confidence. I am confident in Minnesota. I really like PJ Fleck. I love how competitive he is. I love the nature that he presents himself with. I think I'm really confident in PJ Fleck in Minnesota. I am quietly confident in 2 teams, and I'm going to give you some. You're going to be surprised that I didn't mention one team, but I'm confident in Washington, and I'm going to hold out hope and I'm quietly confident in Wisconsin. I'm quietly confident in what Wisconsin could do, maybe, and I'm curious to see what they can do on the field. If Billy Edwards can help turn that offense around for the Wisconsin Badgers, Devon Williams for Washington, can Jedd Fisch get it going in his second season? I'm confident in what they can do quietly on them. You're thinking, no, Oregon? I just think there's a little bit, to me, Oregon is like, okay, let's just wait and see with Oregon for me. And you're going to think, I'm kind of surprised he didn't say Oregon, but To me, like I said, it's just a wait and see with Oregon on the confidence scale. Yeah, I just got to wait to watch them play. And I think that's really what it boils down to. So that's the Wednesday and overall who I'm confident in for Media Day. That is the Wednesday Media Day recap for the Big Ten. Let's go to Thursdays. Last but not least, to conclude everything, 6 teams on this Thursday, or on this past Thursday for Media Day. We're going to kick it off with Kirk Ferentz and Iowa, probably the longest tenured coach in the Big Ten, actually, besides James Franklin. Kirk Ferentz is there in Iowa, talking about Iowa and talking about everything going on with them. You lose Caleb Johnson at running back, but that's okay. You still have more guys in the backfield. You have a solid offense coming in, especially in the running game. Defense is always going to be on point. You bring in your offensive line and Logan Jones, your offensive line, and then defensive line with Ethan Herkett, and then you bring in defensive back Cohen Intringer out of the defensive side of things. He's confident in his defense, and Kirk Ferentz is confident in how well this defense can play. He's confident in his next season at Iowa, and he believes that Iowa can make it back at least and compete. And look, I'm not doubting that at all. And the thing is, the way he's confident in his team, he's always been confident in Iowa, and he's continuing to prove that. So my overall thoughts on Iowa and how they spoke was they spoke with confidence, but at the same time, it's like, let's see how quarterback play is going to transition, how the offense is going to transition as well now that Caleb Johnson's gone. Who are some of the key playmakers on this Iowa team, especially at receiver? That's what I wanted to know as well. Didn't really get a whole lot out of that. And then defensively, defensively they're going to be fine because I do Kurt Ferentz's defense and Iowa Hawkeye defenses are just the truth usually. So Iowa's defense is always a concern for offenses who play. For teams who play against Iowa's defense, they're always a concern because Iowa's defense is just solid usually. So let's see what happens with Iowa's defense. Let's see what happens with Iowa in general. My Media Day recap is they spoke with confidence, but it was also like a little bit of, okay, I'm questioning how they can do heading into the 2025 season and some of the replacements that they got coming in. So overall, that's my Media Day recap for Iowa. Not like a whole lot that I could give you on that, but I mean, it's really just a shrug, and we'll just have to see until they play. So that's my Media Day recap for Iowa. Next up is Michigan. Michigan Wolverines. Sharon Moore entering his, second full season as head football coach for this team. Hail to the victors. Dun, 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 dun. They finally get a quarterback, by the way, at quarterback play, and the longest pass that quarterback threw last year was 35 yards, which was, we didn't have some deep arm talent, and Bryce Underwood gives that deep arm talent. He most likely will be the starting quarterback for this team entering week 1. He wasn't there, but you also have edge rusher Derek Moore there, linebacker Ernest Hausman, tight end / fullback Max Bredesen for the lineup that Sharon Moore brought with him to Media Day. Sharon Moore is confident in his team. He's confident in Chip Lindsey being the offensive coordinator in the scheme of things. He's really excited about Bryce Underwood being the quarterback there. He's confident in his team and confident in how everything can be. And he's confident in Wink Martindale, a defensive coordinator. He thinks that this defense can evolve. And defensively, he says they can evolve quite nicely. And the thing is, how they spoke and how Sharon Moore handled himself with confidence, I buy into that. He said recruiting was going well, and he says everything's going well. So overall, my thoughts on Michigan is I buy into everything he's saying. I think defensively they're going to be a lot better. I think offensively they're going to be a little bit better as well. It's going to give you got to give Bryce Underwood some time. He's going to be a good quarterback. He's got to work out those freshman mistakes and freshman tweaks, right? He's a freshman quarterback, so he's going to make some mistakes. But overall, he's going to develop into a star quarterback for this team. They're loaded at running back with Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes being the 1-2 punch duo there. And then you got some good receivers at Samaj Moore, and you got Samaj Morgan, and then you got on the defensive side of things, you have Derek Moore on the edge rusher. So you got some talent on both sides of the ball for Michigan, and they're recruiting at a high level as well. So they spoke with confidence, and I would be confident if I'm Michigan too. He's got the staff together. He's putting the pieces together. So I would watch out for the Wolverines this year. I put them at 4th in our conference standing projections. I don't think they're going to make it all the way just yet, but in the next couple of years, Michigan I think will be back. Just by the way they're leaning and by the way they're working. And I think that they're building up once again. So watch out for Michigan heading into the 2025 season and beyond. That's really my overall thoughts on my Media Day recap for Michigan, because I believe that they're a very confident football team, and I would be too with some of the pieces that they are bringing in to Ann Arbor. So watch out for Michigan. That is my overall Media Day recap for Michigan. Next up, we have on our list is Michigan State, the other team in East Lansing. Jonathan Smith entering his second season as football coach of this team. Aiden Childs is back at quarterback for this team. He's confident in him, but we got some guys with him that I would be confident in as well. Jonathan Smith entering his second season, trying to rebound and kick back off everything for this season. I put them at 14th, I think 15th or 14th on our conference standing projections list. I think they're still building, and I think that's the kind of mentality that they have had going into this season. He's confident and excited about entering his second season. He knows transition's tough, and he spoke on that during Media Day for Michigan State. But the key is it does take time. It does take 2 to 3 years. And I think this year they can win some more games, to be competitive in more games, to show where they're at, to see if they're on the rise a little bit. And I believe that they can be on the rise a little bit. They got Aiden Childs. We'll see if Childs can be a lot better at quarterback. For this team this year. And then you got a playmaker in Nick Marsh at wide receiver for him that he can throw to, his go-to receiver. And then at linebacker, Jordan Hall was with them, and he spoke very confidently about him, and Jordan Hall spoke confidently about the defense as well. So he's excited about where the defense can go for the Spartans this year. So overall, in my thoughts, in my Media Day recap of Michigan State, is the way they spoke good. I just feel like the vibe that I got from them was it's still going to be maybe another year or two for Michigan State. They're bringing some pieces in. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Michigan State is a team to me, and I've always been kind of had a soft spot in my heart for Michigan State, especially when it comes to quarterbacks too, with Kirk Cousins and Connor Cook and all those guys. But Le'Veon Bell was there. It's just one of those things with Michigan State is with Spartans. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take some work and some more effort into bringing a lot of pieces in to build up. I think they can have a shot at competing this year, but we will see overall how it turns out. I just don't really – the confidence level for me is a little bit lower, only because I think that they have some more rebuilding to do. So overall, that's my overall Media Day recap and my thoughts on Michigan State from their Media Day. So that's my thoughts on them, and I think how they spoke during – Media Day. So that was Michigan State. 3 more teams before we give you my final thoughts on everything and wrap up this episode. Purdue is up next, and Barry Odom is entering his first season as Purdue head coach, first season in the Big Ten, trying to turn that program around. I put them dead last in the conference standing projections, and he knows that a lot of people are counting them out early on, and he is ready to block out the noise, and he's ready to go in there and coach. Barry Odom's excited about being in the Big Ten and excited about being in West Lafayette, Indiana. He knows that there's a lot of work to do, and he knows that it's going to be a challenge with everything and trying to rebuild the whole team. So pretty much, and I'll just give you my overall thoughts. The way he spoke with grace and he spoke good. However, the sense that I got as well is, like I said, he's rebuilding. I put them at 16th because I do think that they're rebuilding. They got to replace a whole line. They got to replace majority of their defense. They have to replace just a lot, and they got to rebuild. And that's fine. It happens. Do not harp on Barry Odom if they do not do as well this season as people hope. Because it's hard to put, okay, let's go win 8 games this year, 7 or 9 games this year with that roster and that team. It's hard to do that because they got to replace a lot on that roster, a lot. And a lot of young faces are on that roster. So when you look at it, you're thinking, oh, well, crap, right? I mean, literally. I mean, it's and you say, and I'm not trying to say that word, but it's like, oh, well, dang, you know, you got to replace that roster. You got to replace that whole young roster. You got to replace. You got to replace that whole young roster. You got to replace a lot of the guys from last year. Whole new roster coming in. It's just tough. You got to rebuild. And I think Purdue is in that situation right now where you just have to rebuild. So overall, my thoughts on Media Day recap for Purdue is they just got to rebuild. And that's the sense that I got heading in to the 2025 season and for Purdue this year. So, and for my Media Day recap for them this year. So that's my Media Day recap of Purdue. They spoke good, just a sense of okay, we just gotta we gotta rebound and we gotta rebuild. So that's my overall Media Day recap for Purdue. Let's move on and let's talk about two more teams. Let's talk about UCLA, the two Los Angeles teams coming up. UCLA. Deshaun Foster is entering his second season as head coach. He is confident in the arrival of Nico Amaliaava at quarterback. He was there with them. Nico Amaliaava is excited about being in Los Angeles and excited about being a Bruin. He's ready to go and he's ready to play for this team and this offense. And he's comfortable and he's ready to rock and roll. Deshaun Foster is excited about the opportunity with working with him and having Tino Sinceri there being at offensive coordinator for this team. So for UCLA, my overall thoughts and my recap on UCLA is the questions that I was kind of having during the media day as well when they were speaking. They were speaking with confidence, but at the same time, do they have the weapons around for Nico Amaliaava to expand and to win and be competitive in these ball games? That's the only questions that I got. They have a good offensive coordinator. They have a good coach, or at least a good coach, a solid enough coach. Yes, they do, Deshaun Foster. But can Nico Amaliaava be that guy in UCLA and help, one, make some plays and make some plays happen, but does he have the help necessary to win these ball games? And that's really a big question that I have after the media day and heading into the 2025 season. I just don't know. It's just kind of we will just have to see what happens with UCLA entering the 2025 season. So that's really my overall thoughts on UCLA, and my main recap of UCLA for media day is, do they have enough to honestly compete and win and outright win these ball games? Does he have the help? I don't know. We will just have to see. But it's just questionable at this point. But that's UCLA. That's my media day recap for UCLA and how well they spoke during media day. Last but not least, before we conclude today's episode and give you my thoughts and my confidence thoughts in these teams, is USC. Lincoln Riley entering his, I would say it's his fourth season at USC, in his second season in the Big Ten. In his second season in the Big Ten. He's ready to rock and roll. He's excited about how the defense is evolving. He's excited about how the team's evolving. He's excited about Jaden Maiava being their quarterback. He's excited about some of the guys that he's got on their team as well, and he's confident that this team can be the standard, set a standard in college football this season, and he's excited about that. So he's excited about this season and how it can play out. Mekhi Lemon at wide receivers, who they brought with him, he praised him, and he's praised the receiver room, and he thinks that this receiver room is really, really deep as well, and I believe that as well. Elijah Page and Kamari Ramsey, offensive lineman Elijah Page and Kamari Ramsey at safety were with him as well, and they spoke really good about the defense. Kamari Ramsey did, and he's excited about how the defense is to continue to evolve. So my overall thoughts is that Lincoln Riley seems confident, and he seems confident they can go and compete and win some of these ball games. And then my overall thoughts is they're going to have to win these games. They're going to have to win these games and at least go to at least 8 to 9 games and at least 8 to 9 wins for the seat. I mean, I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat now, but at least to get a lot of chatter off of him, he's got to win at least 8 to 9 games. I think this season is a must for Lincoln Riley to try to go out there and do the best that he can to outright win some of these ball games and to compete. I think he's got the quarterback and the receivers to do that. Defensively, obviously still got to evolve and still got to be more physical each and every time. And that's the biggest questions usually with USC in the past couple of years. So let's just see how USC is going to do. My overall thoughts on media day recap for them is they were confident, and I did sense a good sense of confidence from them. It's just kind of a wait and see for me. I mean, a lot of these guys that spoke today to me was a wait and see, and it was a wait and see from the jump on that, because it's just one of those things where it's like we just got to wait and see how they do in these games. So that's my mini day recap for USC entering the 2025 season and just overall. So my overall thoughts, and then we get our confidence votes in before we wrap everything up for Pigskin Frenzy. But my overall confidence thoughts is this: who am I confident in? Who am I, by saying I'm not confident, I'm not going to say that. I'm just not going to say anything. But who am I mainly confident in? I think, and you're going to think, just because even I just mentioned them, and you're going to think you sounded like you weren't, but it's not that I'm not. I just got to wait and see. But I think USC, to me, I got some confidence in USC. I mean, I think they got some talent on their team. I really do. I think they can go out there and compete. So, I mean, USC, obviously, I think USC brings a lot to the table there. I think Michigan brings a lot to the table as well. I'm confident in them. Confident in USC and Michigan. Overall, if I look at them, I'm confident in USC and Michigan. I think Iowa, I'm confident in their defensively. I just got to see about their offense. And I think that's pretty much it, really, when it comes to the confidence scale. Mainly USC and Michigan are the two teams I'm confident in right now out of the Thursday Media Day group, and I think they have a shot at doing well this season heading into 2025 with some of the guys that they have on their roster. So, overall, that's really all I got, and that is pretty much it for Big Ten Media Day recaps and Big Ten Media Day in general. Talking season is behind us, ladies and gentlemen. It is behind us. We did the Big 12, we did the ACC, we did the SEC, and then we did the Big 10. So we done every media day. We're done with media day. We're wrapped up with talking season. We're entering August, and in August, it's time for college football, and I'm so excited and pumped up for the 2025 college football season. So let's get to work with a lot of these games that we're going to cover throughout the season. Guys, we are out of time. A big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage and some media day recap coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X and Instagram, at Pigskin_Frenzy. Follow all the pages there. You're going to get episode updates, news and highlights from across college and college football, trivia questions on Instagram stories, going into today's college football question, as well as offense to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, the website's www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in each and every Tuesday and Thursday. 5,000 plus listeners and counting. 5,100, about to be at 5,100 listeners and counting as well. So big thank you for tuning in each and every Tuesday and Thursday. We couldn't do this show without you guys, and most importantly, we couldn't do this show without our Lord and Savior Jesus. I mean, it's the best decision you can ever make in your life if you want to come to know Jesus. You can contact me X and Instagram at Pigskin_Frenzy. On X and Instagram at Pigskin_Frenzy. There's the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Contact info down below to contact me about it. It's the best decision you can ever make in your life. We give him all the glory and praise for giving us the platforms to do this show, because without him, we wouldn't be here talking about college football, and most importantly, we wouldn't be glorifying him and spreading his love and his name on this show. So we give Jesus all the praise for this show. So we praise him for everything. Best decision you can ever make in your life. Contact me at Pigskin_Frenzy on X and Instagram, and the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back Tuesday. Special edition of Pigskin Frenzy, August 5th edition of Pigskin Frenzy, episode 243 of Pigskin Frenzy on Tuesday. Coming up on Tuesday, we're going to post about it on X and Instagram at Pigskin_Frenzy. So like the video on X and Instagram, and like the video there, and we'll announce it right now. Jay Busby, Yahoo's senior sports reporter and Yahoo's senior reporter, Jay Busby, author of Iron in the Blood, out late August, where books are sold everywhere. Iron in the Blood, a book about the Alabama-Auburn football rivalry, the Iron Bowl. We're going to talk to him about the book. We're going to talk to him about the rivalry. We're going to discuss to him. We're going to talk to him about him covering sports for Yahoo. We're going to talk to him about his career. We're going to discuss mainly about the book, the rivalry of the Iron Bowl, and if the Iron Bowl is the greatest rivalry in college football. So it's going to be a fun, information, deep filled episode, August 5th. You're not going to want to miss it. Guys, share it around with others. Keep plugging in on Pigskin Frenzy. August 5th, coming up Tuesday, episode 243, Jay Busby on Pigskin Frenzy. You're not going to want to miss this big episode. So keep up to date with us on X and Instagram, and watch out for the announcement, and like and share and comment on that announcement video coming up later this week, which most likely will be Saturday. So keep up to date on that. So until Jay Busby on Tuesday for Pigskin Frenzy, I'm Joel Norris. We're going to sign off. We will see you Tuesday for the first episode of August for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, as always, we love you all. We're praying for you all. Have a great weekend. Stay the course.